All right, welcome to another episode of Sex with Ashley. I am Ashley, and today we are talking about Black girls and self-esteem. Black girls and self-esteem. And so I have Dr. Donna Oriowo. Can I pronounce your last name correctly?
Oreo like the cookie, and then whoa.
Because I was about to say something else. So Dr. Donna Oriowo.
Oreo, whoa.
Oriowo.
Yeah, there you go.
Different. And so Donna has a new book. It's in her corner over there. And what's the book called, Donna?
Drink water and mind your business. A Black woman's guide to unlearning the BS and healing self-esteem.
Yes. So we're going to talk about that because I feel like how we view ourselves, our self-esteem, it translates into our romantic relationships, into our relationships where we have with our friends. A lot of times, even with me, a lot of times I have dated people that I should not have dated. But as one of my friends, Demetrius Lucas, often says, people date at the level of their self-esteem. Yeah. And so once I understood that, right? And so like I have friends and they'll be doing stuff and I'm like, I don't know, why are you with him? Did I hear Demetrius in my voice, in my head? People date at the level of their self-esteem. I'm like, you know what? This is what they feel like they're worth. And so I just let it go. Because until you understand that you deserve better or that you can see yourself better, this is what you're going to keep getting. So let's talk about your book. Let's talk about who you are, why you wrote it, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, do I start with me? Do I start with the book? Where would you like to start? This is your shot.
So let's start with you, because people, that way we can get the who I am, why I'm an expert, and why I am someone you should be following or listening to first, out the way.
Then let me just go ahead and give the little spiel.
Okay.
I am Dr. Donna Oriowo, sex and relationship therapist in the Washington, D.C. metro area, helping Black women feel free, fabulous, and fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy on the fabulous and the free and the fucked. So I guess all three. So let's just keep it a buck. Free, fabulous, and fucked. And for me, what that means is that my work has focused in on Black women specifically as it relates to colorism and texturism, mental health, sexuality, how these things come together and how we can actually live our individual best lives, not the best life that someone else told us that we're supposed to have.
Mm-hmm.
More than anything, I want us to be free, fabulous, and fucked.
I love that. So why the hell did you write a book about self-esteem?
So you know how people be like, oh, your self-esteem is your own fault.
Yes.
Right? They're like, well, if it's low, then it's because you failed. You didn't like yourself enough. You didn't care for yourself enough. You didn't show up enough. The problem is, for me, that no one is looking at the world around us and acknowledging how self-esteem is not self-taught. No one taught you self-esteem.
Okay.
Your self-esteem was not created in a bubble. It developed alongside people who have been in your life.
Okay.
It was created with supremacy culture in mind. I'm talking about white supremacy, male supremacy, heterosexual supremacy, all of that. It was created with supremacy culture in mind, which your parents, your grandparents, and even your great-grandparents were subjected to. So if we're going to disrupt the narrative, if we're going to live a life of pleasure on purpose, then it will require us to divest from the messages that have nothing really to do with us and that certainly do not belong to us. And we need to build an affirming community around us to help reestablish, reaffirm, and grow our self-esteem.
So how do you do that? So how, if you have been in an environment where you've always heard that, so let's use me and you, our skin tones, for example, right? So if you've already heard dark skin isn't pretty or dark skin is these negative things, right? How do you overcome that and get to the place where you realize that, you know what? I am beautiful. There's nothing wrong with being dark. I am worthy of love just like anybody else.
I mean, I could tell you a little bit about how I did it, but I would say that a lot of people do it in their own ways.
Okay.
So for me, it was just one day I was just like, why do you think you're not cute?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think your skin tone's not cute? Where did you hear it from?
Mm-hmm.
Like, where did you learn that, right? So basically, I took it to like I'm a Marvel girly at heart. So
Okay.
I took it back to Marvel. And I was just like, well, you need to, what's the origin story, sis? Where did this shit come from? Is it yours?
Mm-hmm.
And what I realized is that it was inherited, not even from my parents, because my parents never said stuff like that about skin tone, and they never behaved that way. But it was stuff I picked up from school, from watching TV, from even like books and music. You know, they always want a thick, long haired, red bone. Right? So like all these places said exactly what you're supposed to look like in order to be worthy of love, to be worthy of attention, and even to be worthy of self-esteem, quiet as it's kept.
Right.
Right? Like, because it's always like, oh, you acting light skin. You need to, it's almost like a return to your place, girl. Right? Like you acting light skin, you don't have the right to act like that because you don't have the right skin tone. So for me, it was recognizing the origin story, deciding for myself whether or not what I was gonna keep and what I was gonna put to the side, throw away. I definitely did some therapy. Though none of my therapists were really adept at working on self-esteem. Self-esteem for dark-skinned people, if I'm being honest, right? Because
Okay.
I feel like that's one of those things that we don't talk about.
Right.
And so I had to do my own work. And actually, it was through writing first my dissertation for Widener, skin tone and hair texture. I think it was called like, Is It Easier for Her? Look, that thing was in 2016. This is 2025. The way that yes, we're moving on. But it's the thing that helped me to write a workbook. And with the clients that I was working with, I wrote my first book, which was Cocoa Butter and Hair Grease, a self-love journey through hair and skin, which was specifically about undoing some of the messaging that we'd received around skin tone and hair texture. And I realized that honestly, all of this was part of a larger conversation. And it did not make sense to just have that and not write a book about self-esteem in general.
Yeah. So I often get the question, people often ask me, as someone being a dark-skinned girl, how did I get all this confidence? People always assume, like, people always say, I hear this a lot, oh, you have so much confidence. And I'm like, well, how do y'all assume that? I guess because I wear bright colors and I ain't got no hair. Like, they were like, well, how? You're so confident.
No, but I could see that.
Oh, is that? Okay, is that
You
what?
behave as a person who doesn't feel like your job is to hide. You behave as a person who feels like you get to take up space, like you deserve to be in whatever spaces you're in. That's how I perceive you. I perceive you
People,
as a
because people always say this to me, and I was like, well, I don't really have an answer for that because my mother is dark like me, and my grandmother is also dark like me. Like my dad's not, and my granddaddy's not, but my mom and my grandma are. And so like my mother raised me to be like, just because you're dark doesn't mean it's a problem. You just happen to be dark. Like she will always say, like in the world, she's like, in the world of black people, black people are like Hershey kisses, right? And she said, then me and you were Hershey special dark. That's how she always said. Now
that though.
Hershey special dark is bitter and nasty, but whatever.
Well, that's if it's made from Hershey. Like sorry Hershey. Sorry, but there are way better special dark
Okay.
chocolates outside, and I would argue that they taste the best and they also are the best for you. So, what up, special dog?
Okay, but she was like, "No, you're the special dog. That means we're unique and all this stuff." And so she always like hyped it up. And so I always, growing up, I was like, I'm a special dark. I'm always to my friends that I'm Hershey special dark. Crazy. Anyway, so like for me, it was never not anything to like not feel inferior about. It's just what it was in my house. My mom's dark, and then I go to my grandma's house, she's dark. It's just what I saw. So it was never anything I had to like kind of like overcome or to be okay with.
They made it regular.
Yeah, they made it very regular.
Well, a lot of people, they don't get that. What they get is, and this is some of the stuff that I've seen and heard of in therapy specifically, what they get is sometimes they have the parents that say it doesn't matter. And then you watch your parent treat light skin and good haired cousins and other people way better than they treat you.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not said with their mouth, it's said with their actions, right? Because I'm like, all communication is not verbal. 7% of communication is what you say. A lot of it is what you do and the tone you use. So parents, they said one thing out their mouth and then did something else. For some, it's it was blatant in their house. It was just like, well, we don't know what we're gonna do with you. You so damn dark that you're not gonna be able to get nobody like your sister. And
Yeah.
it's like it was said straight to your damn face that way. Like for me, I didn't grow up with messages from my parents that my skin tone was going to be something for me to overcome, or that my hair texture. I mean, nah, I didn't hear stuff about my hair texture.
I will say the messages I did hear came from outside of my house. I was talking to one of my friends and I told them like the first music artist that I could like identify with was like NDRE.
Same.
Yeah, because like I mean, huh?
And tweet.
Yeah, yes. But like more so for me with India, because she had like a wide nose and she had like natural hair and she was just like she wasn't like now she had makeup on, but it wasn't like overly done. It was kind of like natural makeup, and then she was kind of like this is me, and then the video song came out. It was like no, this is me, like it or don't. And so like I really resonated with India already growing. I'm like, oh, so you can be dark skinned and have like these features and be famous. Because up until that point, like the women that I did see, if they were darker complexion, either had like straight hair, and all those things. And I remember when I did that TV show a couple years ago, and when I talked to the producers, I told them, I said, if I'm going to be on this show, you have to like me with how my hair is. I'm not getting a wig. I'm not doing anything. So if how I look is a problem, then I'm not a person for this show. Because
and you know what? Too many people will sell their integrity and they'll sell their personhood up the fucking river for an opportunity just to do something. And like it's not everybody that's willing to just to say no and to walk away. And I'm not saying that the people who, for those of you who have sold your integrity, it's okay. Sometimes the girl gotta eat. You could buy it back later, I guess.
Yeah, but for me, it was very important to like for someone who looked like me to be on TV so other people can see. Like I was talking like when you see people on TV now, reality TV shows or whatever shows, if there is a dark skinned person, rarely rarely does she have natural hair. Rarely. Like you can be dark, but your hair gotta be straight. You can't be both.
Buy one you have to have one or the other, right?
Okay.
So it's like if you are fat, dark skin, then it's straight hair and
Yes.
it's face full of makeup.
Yes.
There's this constant like exchange
Yes.
going. If they're fat and they're light skinned, they can have natural hair if the hair is looser in its pattern.
Yeah.
If you are skinny and light and have certain facial features, then you can have whatever hair you want. Like it's like a picking and choosing that sort of goes on. So it's very rare to see a dark skinned somebody, kinky haired somebody, who is fat somebody, who I'm just like, okay, I see y'all picking and choosing today.
Yeah, you pick and
I feel like so many of the black people that being chosen now are ambiguous black.
Yes.
They're like the ones where it'd be like kinda, right? Where
with my eyes I can see
identify themselves with that person so that they can hit as many groups as possible while not really giving full satisfaction to any of them.
Yes, I agree with that. And so like for me, how that's translated into dating, right? So my romantic relationship. So men typically from my experience, and so I'm someone who's 40, been single all her life. I ain't never been married. So dating translates. So I date men in the South because I live in the South. And I date black men because I like black men. Right? Cool. So, but black men, and this is not a everybody thing. But from my experience, typically they like women who have long hair or hair. And I cut mine off on purpose. And then you have some of them that are still kind of like color struck a little bit. Like you have those who are like, I don't know, you're a little too dark. I've seen that. Like I can't be dark, but I can't be dark and not have no hair. And then can't be dark and not have no hair. And like, then I have these loud, bright ghetto nails. Like it's a whole lot of things going on, right?
It's an aesthetic that they're looking for.
Yes. And I typically don't have that aesthetic. Right. And so that could like be self-esteem. That could be like, I'm not good enough, or I'm never going to find someone who loves me. For me, I was dating the guy recently, actually. And he asked me, would I grow my hair out for him? And I said, no. That's what I said.
Like, I'm sorry, sir.
Because when
More
you
special than me.
no, because when you met me, I didn't have any hair, and I haven't had hair in over a decade. It's been this been like 11 years.
Stick a fork in it. That's
Yeah, I don't want
pretty
to.
done.
And he was like, and he was like, I dated this girl who, when I met her, she was like, oh, how do you want me to wear my hair for you? And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do and that's important to you, cool. I'm not gonna say
You're
it's
more generous
wrong.
than I.
I'm not gonna say it's wrong, right? If that is
I'm
what
trying to figure out why you decided to mortgage your power for a relationship. That's what I would like to
yeah.
know. I'm trying to figure out how is it that this person met you,
Uh-huh.
said they liked you, and then are then asking for changes from you. Because for me, that's not giving I want to be with you. It's giving I want to be with someone, specifically someone who is moldable and changeable, which means because I find that some dudes, they really do like a very powerful woman so they can cage her. They want to be the one to say they did. So they ask for little things 1st. Do something with your nails. Do something else with your nails. Do something else with your hair. Do something else with your clothes. And it feels like not a big deal. But one day you look up and you aren't you. You know what happens? They end up in therapy with me wondering how did they get here? And we have to talk about all the little ways in which they were accomplices in their erasure.
That's good. And so, yes. And that is, and what I told him is, and I was like, if you want someone who has hair, then there are plenty of women who have hair. You should just date women with hair. Like, I know more women with hair than I do, right? If you like someone who is a dress size 6, I know women who are dress size 6. You should date someone who's a dress size 6, right? Like, you go find what you
They
want.
build a bitch.
It's not.
Looking for.
Bitch, go find what you want instead of trying to get a woman and then trying to build a bitch, right? And I think like, and so for me, that particular situation, and I realized it after, it was more of a it was kind of like emotional abuse sort of, and I was slowly trying to, I was like, okay, well, maybe I should do this, and like maybe I should grow my hair a little bit, or maybe I should, change my nails. And I was doing what you just said. I was trying to slowly changing things because I was like, well, he's here, he likes me, maybe I should do these things.
Didn't.
I mean, I didn't, but there's some things I did, like, okay, I'll work on this. Now I didn't grow my hair
Like
because I'm
if when it's reasonable, when it's a conversation, that's one thing. When it's change this thing or I'm gonna leave, that's something else, right? When it's badgering, when it's sneaky, when it feels abusive, that's not love. And
no.
for me, it brings into the question: does this person like me, or do they like what they think they can get from me? What they can change about me? What they can? I'm just like. Look, there's a list of things that Donna don't do, right? And one thing that I love about Mr. Boo Thing is that Mr. Boo Thing is not trying to change Mrs. Boo Thing. I'm thinking about wearing my hair like this. Cool. I can't wait to see it. It doesn't matter. What clothes do you like? There's no conversation about my clothes other than damn. You know it's cold outside, right? Like stuff like that. Like it's cold outside. And even that is followed by like maybe just take the sweater.
Okay.
Like you should go outside and feel it and see if you can withstand that.
Okay.
It's like that. It's not about you should change pieces of who you are in order for us to be together. Because for me, at least the way that I define love and liking and respecting is that you are able to see me, accept me, desire me, love me as I am. And that I can be with you without having to think about what it means for me to be with you, right? Where I'm not performing being with you. I'm just being, right? I'm like, am I a human being or am I a human doing? Am I a human doing my hair, doing my nails, doing the waxing, doing the cooking, doing the cleaning, doing the sucking, the fucking, doing the. If all of these things are required for me to do, then I can't be with you.
In your book, do you like list strategies or things that Black women can do if they feel like maybe their self-esteem is not where they want it to be?
Whole second half of the book is do. Like, there's mind your matter, and then there's mind over matter, right? That's the thing that people told us, the things that people taught us. Put your mind over the matter.
Mhm.
And then the second part of the book is mind your matter. This is the part where you do. Like, it's one thing to talk about what self-esteem is, and I think that some of us don't fully understand, which is why we start there. We start with, what is self-esteem? Let's define it. What's in it? Have you been taught to value it? We talk about what we not finna do. Like, I believe that's actually the name of the chapter 4, what we not gonna do, right? The things that we cannot forget, the things that actually do matter that we've been told to sort of push off or think of it as things that don't really matter within the conversation or within the context. And then we talk about sexuality and self-esteem in chapter 5, and then you move into the doing. And I want to say like the first thing, chapter 6, is you need to become Bob the Builder of some boundaries. And you can't build boundaries if you don't know you.
Sure.
Boundaries are created in private, but they're practiced in public. So your boundaries are like, what does it take for you to feel safe, sane, to feel wonderful, delightful, beautiful, pleasure-filled, whatever the things is that, that you get to feel. What do you like to feel? How do you like to be? What feels comfortable? What doesn't feel comfortable? Now, I'm not talking about avoid the parts that help you stretch as a human being. I'm talking about avoiding the things that ain't got no business there. Right? Being able to use your boundaries to say, you know what? I'm going to get off the phone with you, because if you say that thing one more time, I'm going to be upset. And the boundary is the thing that you do. It's not what you tell other people to do.
And I have a friend, and she doesn't like to be like called outside of her name, in terms of like, sometimes people like bitch and stuff like that. Like, she doesn't, girl, like, she doesn't like that. She likes to be called her name. So that's like a big boundary for her. And so she says, like, someone does it the first time, like, she'll, tell them, like, I just like prefer my name. And then if they continue to do it, she'll like, well, she's kind of like the end of conversation. Cause like for her, that's a thing. And like, I was like, I never thought about that. Like, that is her boundary. And I like how she let them know what her boundary was at first. Cause sometimes people don't know. Right.
It's not a boundary if you didn't have a conversation. Can you imagine getting a ticket on the road because you went this way? And it said, and then later they like, oh, it's a one-way street that goes that way. Where's the fucking sign?
Right.
Ain't no sign. Like, don't tell me that I got a ticket for going by a stop sign, but there was no sign. The sign is the boundary. The sign is the, hey, stop here, right? Yield here. All of these things are telling you about a boundary. Mm-hmm. Well, really it's a rule, but in your life, the way that you would be able to do it, if you want someone to adhere to a boundary, how you gonna keep it a secret and get it met?
Yeah, you can't do
that.
Like,
we be funny. I'm looking like, is that how you order food? You think about it in your head and then it shows up at your door, or did you have to put it in an app or go get it? Boundaries work the same way. If we're saying that this is the menu item of life that we want to pick from, you have to actually tell people.
Yeah.
So I told my mama like earlier, I was like, hey, don't ask me about this no more. Like when it came to my wedding, getting married, I was just like, yo, I was stressed. My mama had 1,000,001 questions about a wedding. I didn't even know there were that many questions to be answered about a wedding. So I was just like, you know what? We could talk about the wedding on certain days and at certain times. Outside of that, I don't want to hear it. You need anything that you have a question that requires a decision, ask one of my sisters first. I asked my sisters if they would be buffers. And they were the best buffers that a bitch could ever have. They were delightful buffers. Okay. And it meant that I still got to have a good and sane relationship with my mom during the process, but I could not spend my life talking about this damn wedding.
Yeah. Okay.
I was feeling so disgruntled.
I bet she was excited though. She probably was very excited.
Yeah, your firstborn daughter gets married.
Yeah, she's excited. So what do you want people to get from the book? What do you want when women read it? What do you want their takeaway to be?
They can build the life they want.
Okay, well, that's good.
That they can live the life they want. That they don't have to be bound to what men think and what white people think. That they don't have, that I want them to be able to imagine something different and better for themselves. Because right now, a lot of people are using their imagination for anxiety. They're just building words of that would be extra fucked up. And I'm like, okay, cool, but you live it, so you don't actually need to spend your free time imagining it. It is a misuse of your imagination. Imagine something else.
So question. Top of question. So you said you want women to live a life where imagine a life where we don't have to like basically center men. Is that what you're saying? So my question to that is, so I agree with that. So my question is for people, how do you, so what if I want to have a man, right? Don't I have to, I don't have to center to either, but like I know people who do. So for people who like, well, I want to be married or I want to do this, and so like,
I would ask them why.
okay,
I spend a lot of time in the space of why.
okay,
Right? So, like, and I know that for some people it's going to be like, girl, it's easy for you to say you already married. However, before me and Mr. Boothang got together, it was just like, I've done some dates and I was just like, ooh, it's rough.
it is.
I was wondering how long will I like to withstand this? And I was just like, you know what? But the dating part of dating is actually kind of fun for me. I like the dating part of dating. It's the part where I have the expectation that this is about to be my forever boo that turns things left.
Okay.
So I was just like, well, what if you stop doing that? Just enjoy the dating process and commit to your singleness. Commit to you.
Okay.
Be with you. Love on you. And when I tell you that my world cracked open, I'd realize how small that I had made it in pursuit of being somebody's wife.
Okay.
And when I stopped centering that process, I was just like, snap, I could do this, I could do this, I could do, like, the ways that you could spend your time, the ways you could spend your money, the money and the time. I was just like, oh, a girl gonna crack the code. I'm never going back. And then I got with Mr. Boothang, and it required mourning. I had to mourn this other life that I thought I was going to get to live because I got with him, and I had to ask myself if he was even worth it. If it was worth it to give up this other thing that I started to dream about a little bit. So there were several conversations about what kind of life I might want to live. And I was just like, the second I have to be fake with you, we done. If I can't show up as me, brash and a little loud, and then times where I won't talk for days because I am stuck in a book. If I have to be anything less than what I am, then you don't like me, you don't want me, we don't need to be together. If I have to pretend for you, we aren't together. There is no intimacy here. For me, the intimacy being the culture of the relationship, what we build together, it has to include me fully. And I am highly opinionated. I am a know-it-all. I am a type A personality. Almost to a T. Firstborn, first-gen firstborn. It's a little scary outside, right? Like, and I'm just like, I'm not changing me. So if you don't like me, change your girl. Change your girlfriend. Don't change me, leave. Word. And I'm not trying to change him. I appreciate who he is. Now, does that mean that I can't accept feedback? Of course not. That's not what that means. I can accept feedback. We talk about things all the time, where we want to grow, what we want to grow into as individuals and as a couple. These are part of the conversation, but he's not the center of my world. He's a part of my world. He's very important in my world, but the center of my world is me. I am the sun. Everyone revolves around me in my world. And in your world, I don't expect to be the center. I revolve around you in your world, but you revolve around me in mine. I'm saying, do our orbits match? Can we make this shit work? Now, I recognize that some people want nothing more than to have somebody be the entire center of their universe. And I would say go for it, right? But I want it to be a conscious choice and not one that you fell into because patriarchy and supremacy culture told you that you were unimportant, that you weren't supposed to have needs, that you're not supposed to ask for what you want, and worse, that you wouldn't be worthy of it. Between living the life that someone told you to live and choosing the life that you want to live, even if they look the same.
Yes.
There's the way that it feels will be different, because a lot of people who end up centering somebody else, even on accident, you know who they resent? They talk about everybody outside that they resent. I resent my mama for not teaching me this. I resent my daddy for not doing this. I resent this Negro that I'm dating who did X, Y, and or Z, right? Or Negress, right? Like I like who this fuck folk this fuck person I'm dating, I resent the hell out of them. I'm looking like, baby, that resentment belongs to you. You made a lot of little decisions that led you to this point. So I'm like, there's a difference between responsibility and accountability, and not a lot of us won't take account for our lives, because if and when it fails, when it stops feeling good, we have somebody else to point the finger at. But if you take your life by the reins, if you unlearn some things and actually actively choose pieces of your life, now you know you ain't got nobody to blame but you. And a lot of people are not actually ready for that level of responsibility. I understand that. It's very easy to talk shit about other people. We don't want to talk shit about us.
Wow. Wow. Listen, like I understand that. As someone who is, I am also a firstborn daughter. Yeah, of a firstborn daughter. And so, but and so like my mother and my parents are married. And but my mother raised me to be like very much like men are not the center of your life. They
A
are
lot of
not.
people don't get that message. Whole families are built around men being at the center. And we're talking about the type of center that they don't do nothing. They don't really contribute nothing. They just sort of sit on their ass. They receive the food. Somebody brought them the plate. Somebody, I just like, okay. I'm like, you can't lead a family that you don't know. And I've had to say that to some people. I'm just like, how are you the leader? You don't know it. That's also why, like, I always look at presidents with some level of side eye. This one especially. I'm like, if you don't know America at its underbelly, then you don't like you're not the leader of anything if you don't know it well. You have to know it well enough to be able to lead.
Right.
I'm like, there's a reason that some people are called thought leaders. They've done a lot of scholarship in the area to be able to lead some fucking thought. You're not leading no daggone thought telling somebody else or something. If you don't know what's going on, then what you led?
What you leading?
Right? And I'm not saying that like we don't all have moments and spaces where we need to learn, but I'm talking about fundamentally. I mean, how many videos have been outside about men who don't know children's blood types, schools, friends, favorite colors, favorite food, don't even know where their kids are that day. I'm looking like, what the fuck are you leading? You don't know anything about your household.
Me and my mom had this joke about my dad. And like she was like, well, your dad used to be, I'm sure you have memories of him, doing stuff with y'all. I was like, I have no memories of like, my dad was in the house, but he wasn't active. Like he went to work, he was there. Like I remember him being there, but like, like he wasn't like, he didn't read us. Yeah, he wasn't like reading us bedtime stories. He didn't help with homework. Like my mom had to work late. He would pick us up. We wouldn't get pizza. Like, but he was not like. I have a plethora of memories from my mother, all ages of my life, because my mom was very hands on and very, we talk, like I don't think like the conversations I don't like me and my dad didn't have any conversations, not like just one-on-one conversations outside of like now we talk now. We talk every day. He'll call me like, how you doing? I'm good. How your day going? Okay, goodbye. It's like a 10-minute conversation, 5-minute conversation.
So kind of surface level.
Pretty much. That's just what it is. But, I will give him this. I think he's a better grandparent than he was parent. So like with my nieces and nephews, he calls them like sometimes weekly and just kind of talk to them about what's going on in their lives. My two nieces, when they were little, like he would like they love Papa Larry, and so like I'll be like there'll be me sometime I go at their house. I'm like, what do you want to do? Do you want to come with me or you want to stay with Papa? I want to stay with Papa. And like, well, fine, they hurt my feelings, so stay over here. Like, he would like, read them stuff, watch TV with them. Like, so I think, he saw the error in his ways with his kids, and he's a better grandparent. But like, growing up, we didn't get that. My dad never read a book to me. Like, I didn't know he could read. Like, I don't, I
didn't know he could read.
I guess he could read because he had a job, but like, he never read to me. I don't know.
Word. I think maybe sometimes that's why parents desperately want grandkids. They want an opportunity to do some things differently than what they did with us. And I think some of it is because they be growing while we growing, right? Like, I think about it, I'm like, Mama, you was young as hell having babies. What's wrong with you? I'm looking at my big age. I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for kids. Also, I'm not having any kids, so I know I will never be ready for kids. Because there's something about the part where they live at your house.
It's forever.
Which is wild to me. I'm looking like, So just all the time, just like you live here.
Often said, and I know this is frowned upon, so I'm gonna say this, okay? But if I have a kid, I don't know if I want to have a kid, in a traditional sense, like where me and the dad are together. Like I want to have a kid where I have a week on, week off. Like you stay here for a week, and you go see your daddy for a week. Yes, or because like I can have some.
Your kid.
I want a
And
time.
that's how I treat my nephew.
I want a timeshare kid.
I'm looking like you're a timeshare kid. So when it's time for a special occasion, you know whose arms that baby's gonna be in? Mine. Give me my child.
Yes. And then you're back at your dad's house. And I know that sounds crazy, right? I know that sounds crazy. And people are like, you want to be what kind of mama is that?
It sounds like it doesn't sound crazy to me. It sounds like you know what you want, and now it's just a matter of deciding how much sifting are you willing to do through potential bows in order to get the thing that you're.
Well, I don't really want a kid, period. But I'm saying if I were going to have one, it would be like that. Because even when people say, well, you get married and you have a partner and all these things, not all, but most of the people that I know who are married and have kids, even my mother, they're single mamas. Like the dad's there, but like how present are you? The kid runs to mom for everything. Like it's always like, I gotta go get the kids. Dad's at work or dad's laying down taking a nap and the kid and you're up cooking dinner for all the kids. I don't want that.
Because nothing drives me crazier than hearing somebody say, yeah, I'm babysitting. Nigga, them your kids. You can't babysit your kids. You watching your kids. You parenting
your kids.
I'm like, I don't. It does not even compute but people say it. Mm-hmm. Like, and there's a single-minded level of praise that can happen for a father who is even marginally active in their kid's life. And I'm just like, I mean, that's cute or whatever, but no. And because we've grown up with the idea that first you're supposed to fall in love, then you're supposed to get married, and then you're supposed to have kids, that this is a proscribed way of being, that's part of the reason why I'm like, well, doing that doesn't require self-esteem. It requires you to want that thing so much that you are willing to give up pieces of yourself to have it. And to not even think about it, right? It's one thing if that's what you desire. Like I desire for you the thing that you desire for yourself, as long as it is your true desire. I'm like, so it's one thing to desire it. It's another thing to perform it because you think that that's the only thing that you're supposed to do. If you believe that there are no other options to you, if this is what the world around you has said that you must do, then there is some unlearning also to do. Because I think that many more of us would be happy if we knew ourselves and lived for that, as opposed to the self that we think that we're supposed to be, that would bring less shame than the person who we actually are.
And so I'll say this in closing, I'll say this. So I live a very happy life, right? Most of my friends all of my friends actually are either married and or have kids. So I am the only one, right, out of my friends, like my friends I got from like college and high school, out of those friends, I am the only friend of the group who has none of the above, right? I live a totally different life than all of them. And some of them are like, must be nice, right? Some of them are like, I couldn't imagine being 40 without children. Some of them are like, some of them are kind of like, I don't know if
ever been 40 without children. Of
no,
course I can't imagine.
They can't, no.
I don't know what it's like to be Beyonce either. My name is Donna.
People when they look at me, sometimes they'll think like, that's odd, like you don't have kids and you're not married. But I like my life. Like I also have people that I know who don't have children at my age and who actually wants them. And so I want that for them. But I don't want if I don't ever be a mama, I don't want kids that bad. Like I am good on the children. I'm good on them. And the man or whatever, I'm almost kind of good on that too, to be honest. We're gonna be honest.
To me, this is that you are great with you.
Yes.
And that you know you well enough to be able to design the life that you actually want, as opposed to the one that other people say you're supposed to want to have. People still look at me like I'm broken and like I'm depriving my husband every single time I say that we ain't had no goddamn babies. They look at me like, oh, well, what happened to you? Why you don't want no kids? I don't want them.
Something wrong. They think you're stuff. You don't. You're infertile.
I'm actually quite delightful with children. Like, nobody is saying don't give the baby to Donna. She can't watch the baby well. No one is saying that. They're saying, Auntie Donna, oh yeah, come on, take this child. And I'm just like, no. My diaper changing days are over.
Yeah.
I'm not changing diapers. When this child is 5, they can stay here because they got words.
Yes.
Till then, that's your baby.
That's your baby.
It's your responsibility. But I'm just like, there's nothing wrong with me because I don't want kids. And there's nothing wrong with women who don't want to be married to another woman or to another man or whoever, right? There's nothing wrong if that's not something that you desire for yourself. It just means that I think that we're finally at a time in life where, and this may be regressing soon, where more people can have what they desire as opposed to what other people desire for them. And what I would like is for more of us to get to that point. I think that when you live a life, when you know who you are, self-concept, and that translates into self-esteem, where you're able to say, like, these are the things I like about myself, that I love about myself, that I enjoy about myself. You are, number one, you become a beautiful BS detector. You are less likely to go along with something, right? Like, because people be like, oh yeah, I'm just go with the flow. I'm like, you go with the flow so far that you don't even know how you got there and you didn't want to be there. You didn't go with the flow. You got flowed, right? It's like, okay, did you compromise or were you compromised? There's a difference.
Yeah.
And most people are compromised. And I'm just like, I want more people to compromise. I want people to pick. I don't want people to be, on their pick me, choose me, love me, right? I want you to pick. I want you to make a decision to be an active participant in your life and take full accountability and responsibility for it. It's very easy to give blame when somebody else told you what the game was. But if you pick the game, then you get to experience the life that you actually want instead of the one that someone wanted for you. It's good that people want things for you. It's not great if they picked it.
And on that note, Donna, okay, so where can we get your book? It's out.
Drink Water, Mind Your Business in stores April, look at me, May 13th. So it's coming out next month.
Okay.
I'm excited. And it is wherever books are sold, but certainly you can go to drinkwaterbook.com.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.